And welcome. This is Ashley's Heart Song. This is the place where we get out of the stress and back into our body, our life, and our business. When we tap into the song of our heart, that is when we master the mind and the stress that can steal our life. Welcome to today's show. Today, we are going to talk about vitality. Vitality is how we lead, how we present ourselves. It's our state. Vitality resides within us, and it's an energy, and it's that energy within. So the way that you are showing up each and every day gives an idea of what the vitality within your body truly is. And so today I want to talk about how we can lead with this vitality from a place of energy instead of exhaustion. And I'm going to share with you 2 ways that we can increase your vitality. And these are 2 ways that I believe that people know that these are 2 areas in which to work with. And yet it's typically the 2 areas that we put off whenever it comes to us rising, us elevating, us making our life new. These are 2 areas that, I think this is where the work is done, is inside of these 2 areas. And it's almost like we have to take a microscopic lens viewpoint of these 2 areas, tools, 2 areas that we can look into to see how we can gain more energy within our very body. And the first one I want to talk about is about that constant output, being constant in how you have to perform, in putting everything on your schedule. So your schedule is chaotic, it's busy. And those are 2 areas or 2 identifiers that I try to help my clients release, is that we're no longer chaotic, we don't operate in chaos, and we don't operate inside the busy mindset or the busy schedule. Because when we do, it drains our energy, lowers the vitality within our body. And that is when the stress chemistry really does take up shop within our body and adds pounds to our backside. It leaches off healthy gut bacteria. Vital nutrients are leached from our vitamins as well, from our bones as well. Vital vitamins and minerals are leached from the bones as well. And just a whole host of things. Our free radical damage is happening within our body because we are over breathing. Our breath is all caterwanked. That's the word I want to use, caterwanked. It's caterwanked. And therefore we are bringing off all of these free radicals in the body that's creating damage. So that constant output is not healthy, number 1. Number 2, it makes us loud. Constant output, when we're operating in that state of busy and fast, it makes us loud. And that loudest voice is not always the one that's being heard inside the room. And if you are looking to elevate leadership of self, leadership over your team, leadership at your company, if you are looking to step fully into the leadership position in any of those 3 areas, then this is one area that I highly recommend that you take a look at. And remember, this is always a very nice glance. It's never with judgment, just self recrimination. It's never with any of that. It's always done with love. We rise out of the muck puddle and we look from the Hawkeye view down through the situation to see how we can change things, how we can put things in order so that we have more energy and more vitality in our body. So when we're looking at this constant output, remember, it's not going to be about how hard you work. It's never about that. It is truly about how are you showing up inside your body. And with the constant output, showing up inside that body is going to be an energy drainer. So we want to look at the schedule, take the busy things out of it, take the chaos out of it to where our schedule is very clear. It is easily manageable because there is time and space for everything that you would love to do. There is. There is. It's our mindset around it. So typically, when our mindset is in that constant output mode, in that busy mode, we tend to say yes to everything when really we don't need to be saying yes to everything. So that is tip number one on this constant output is stop saying yes to everything. We've got to bring boundaries into play when it comes to this habit, this pattern of constantly putting yourself forward to schedule more, to be more, to do more than what you are supposed to. So it requires boundaries. And that is an area that we usually, typically as a human being, tend to not put up boundaries because we want, it's that people pleaser saboteur that tends to come out around boundaries, not setting boundaries. It's about pleasing people. It's about making everyone like you. The list goes on. And so we want to look at our position as a leader, leadership of self, leadership of a team, leadership at your company, doesn't matter. When we're looking at that leadership, we want to look at what mode are we operating in? Are we operating in that constant output, busy and all that? Or are we setting boundaries? Are we taking a look at our schedule from the Hawkeye view, putting things in scheduled order? And are we stepping into those shoes as the leader that is carrying that energy, carrying that vitality, and that is magnetic, that people love to be around? So that is one area that I wanted to bring your attention to today. And then the other area that is fun is that inside of that, we tend to ignore our body signals. So we're in this overscheduled, the busy, the chaotic, when we are in the constant output, we tend to ignore the signals that the body is giving us. And that is what leads to the burnout. And this is when it's, the body signals that we're getting stem from the emotional side of your system. Whereas the first one that I was talking about, that constant output, is more mental. This one is emotional. And so when your body is giving you any kind of signal that doesn't feel good, that's the emotional system going, okay, we are out of sync. We're not in alignment. Something has got to shift because it is starting to tax the body. And those signals are your power. Those signals are telling you something. And so it's about listening to those signals so you can emotionally resolve the emotions that are creating that condition of busy, of constant, of overworking, overtaxing. We can change that when we emotionally resolve those emotional patterns. You gain so much more energy and vitality in your body. And then you begin leading from a state of operation that is truly magnetic. It's very healing to go through that emotion process. And I regularly hold classes on emotional resolution that are free. They're free every single month. It is free. I do it once a month where I coach you through the process of emotional resolution and the deeper work around that and how that can effectively help you elevate as a leader of yourself, a leader of your team, or a leader in your company. The clients that I work with, in fact, one in particular that I'm thinking of right now, totally, when she came to me, just burnout. She was done. She was at that point of just needing to wash her hands of things, but yet she couldn't because she's such a responsible human being. And she was very burned out, very burned out. And so what we did was we began looking at the emotional scale that she was operating her life in. And when we began attending to that and began resolving those things that were creating the misalignment in her emotional life. So remember, your emotions impact your mental and it also impacts your heart and your physical body for sure. So a person can be very out of alignment when they are not regulating, resolving their emotions. And what she found was that she stopped reacting and she began responding. Many times in our reactions, we are performing out of habit, out of pattern. And instead, we can begin feeling once again that emotion that we've been blocking, and we can resolve it to where it does not hinder that process moving forward. And it is the biggest secret to burnout. If you are burned out, emotional resolution would be your friend. You know, 20 to 30 years ago, I was in that muck of it. You've heard, if you've been listening to Ashley's Heart Song for any length of time, you know my story. And I was in the muck of it, and I would operate in freak out dance, which is coined by my nieces. The freak out dances, Mach 10 with your hair on fire. And it didn't feel good. And yet recently I was in a situation, I was about to host an event, and I was in a situation where I did not feel good in my head, meaning there was all of this stuff in the air that I was reacting to sinus wise. And I had foggy thinking. I had just all of this mess in my head. It was very messy, which is not me when I'm going to do an event. Not at all. I have things in order. Everything is in play, and I tend to from months out to where I do a little bit at a time and it's all organized. That's just the way I roll because I used to roll Mach 10 with my hair on fire and that did not feel good. So I've totally changed the way that I do things. And I had everything done for this event, and yet I felt so unclear in my head. And I thought, good gravy, Miss Stacy, what is this about? And I shared with my husband that morning before I left. I said, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I am really trying to find the sunshine in all of this. My head felt so full, really trying to find the sunshine in all this. And my husband said, Ashley, there is no sunshine. You've just got to enjoy the rain. And I went, you know what? That was so profound. That was so profound for my dear husband. I was like, what? He meant it as a funny, and we both laughed because I knew exactly how he meant it. It was so funny. It really did just kind of throw me off and bring lightness to the situation. And yet, because of who I am, I'm so spiritual, and knowing that everything is said, everything is done for the perfect timing and for my highest good. I just believe that everything happens for a reason. And so I thought, okay, what does that mean? That means that I just need to be in flow with this. This is how it is. I just need to be in flow, not fight it, not argue with it, not judge it. I just need to be present with it. It's here. Okay, let's just keep moving on. Well, y'all, the funniest thing happened later that day where I was on location. Um, Rain moved in. And when rain moved in, I began to cough. And I thought, golly, what is going on? I am just coughing, coughing, coughing. And then all of a sudden, I felt everything from my head drain out as the rain was pouring, pouring from the sky. It was pouring from my head down my throat. And my head cleared up completely before my event started the following morning. Y'all, you can't make this kind of thing up. When we operate in the flow, when we emotionally resolve the things that are blocking us, when we put ourselves in alignment, physical body, mental body, emotional body, spiritual body, when we are in alignment and our heart is leading the way, the song of our heart is leading the way, that is when things just happen. They flow. They flow because we're no longer running Mach 10 with our hair on fire, operating inside that busy schedule, inside that chaos. When we're not operating inside of that, when we choose to operate in the flow, we choose to just be in sync, be in rhythm, be in alignment, then things truly do unfold for our highest good. As human beings, we're not perfect. We all know that. As human beings, we're not perfect at all. We're going to jump into that Mach 10 with our hair on fire, that freak out dance, that chaos. It's just part of life sometimes. And yet, we have our greatest power at our disposal. We have the power to choose at any given moment which lane we're going to be in. Are we going to be on the lane of chaos and constant output? Or are we going to be in the lane of flow, the lane of alignment, the lane of ease and grace? Which lane do you think our body is healthier? Which lane do you think people live longer in? Which lane brings vitality and energy to your very body, your very soul? Which one is going to give you the oomph you need to live your purpose, to live your aim, to live your heart song? Which lane is it going to be in? I hope you choose the lane of alignment, the lane of flow. It truly is a lot more fun to be in that lane versus the lane of Mach 10 with your hair on fire. At least for me, that felt a lot better. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ashley's Heart Song. Check out my emotional resolution class, free class that I hold every month that teaches you the step-by-step process to emotionally resolve those emotional upsets, the patterns that are hindering you, that are holding you hostage, that are keeping you in the constant output, keeping you in the constant state of stress. We don't want that. So join me for one of those free classes. I have one coming up in October. I'll hold them the second Tuesday of the month. I hope to see you then. Just follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, and you will find the link to my class, my monthly class. We'll also put it in the description of this program. All right, much love and a big hug. Thank you for joining me today for Ashley's Heart Song. Join me again next week as we continue to armor up our lives. See you then.